Hey, what's up, class? My name is Professor Paul Calderon, and welcome to Introduction to Motion Picture Production. This class has two sections to it. There's the sort of the conceptual filmmaking section where we talk about all the information that you need to know about the industry standards and practices of making film on a professional commercial level. And then the other aspect of this class is the lab, the workshop. And that's the fun part where we actually get boots on the ground, hit the pavement, and make a movie. So the entire process will take up the quarter. And it's, how you say it, it's work, but it's not the type of work that you expect. There's reading, and you have to like grasp concepts, but they're not difficult concepts. They're not like, huge mathematical equations that you need to learn, or, a lot of data that you need to memorize. These are concepts that once I point them out to you, they're going to look familiar. And some of you may even say, "Oh, I've noticed that before," but no one has ever told me what it was. So that's the book portion of the class. The other portion is the lab, and that's where we get into groups. We hash out a script. We determine which one we're going to shoot, who's going to direct, who's going to produce, who's going to act, who's going to be the cameraman, and all these other positions. We schedule it out, and then you guys go and shoot it. Big fun, big fun. So, a little bit about me. I am from Los Angeles, born and raised. I grew up in Linwood, near Compton, and then I also lived in South Central, right off of say Crenshaw and Florence area. And, LA is my city. So, after high school, I went into the Air Force. That was fun, interesting. I was a aircraft maintenance inspector. So I literally took planes apart, fixed them, and then put it back together and then flew them. So this fostered in me a good eye for detail, because if you can imagine, you can't make a mistake on an aircraft. So it's not like you can pull over mid-air 30,000 feet and, fix the problem. So, but that helped, that sort of process in the military, that attention to detail helped with my filming. Because in film, when you direct, when you write, when you produce, you have to pay attention to the details, okay? So that was the Air Force's contribution to my sort of filmmaking abilities. I've been teaching film for over 23 years at West LA College. I've worked on some films. I've worked on I've worked on, the first one was Fridays with Ice Cube. My first film experience was working on set with the insanely talented film director John Singleton, who's passed on now. John and I were good friends. Matter of fact, he was the reason why I got into film. Or I should say, went to college for film. I was always in film in high school. We had a news show, and I would shoot the news show for our campus. I mean, it wasn't real news. It was just kind of like stuff that we made up. But the format was like a regular news show. Then I shot a couple of music videos, but I barely graduated high school. When I say barely, I mean barely by the skin of my teeth. My GPA was 1.9. So I get into the military, go through all this training for aircraft mechanics. I'm, fixing jet airplane, billion-dollar or multi-million-dollar planes in the Air Force. It's time for me to get out. I have like a year left, and I start preparing myself for college. At that time, it's been long story short, I ended up at UC Davis, where I wrote, produced, and directed 3 plays. Very successful. And then at the end of my freshman year, this is my freshman year, guys. I wasn't even a theater major. The university came to me and said that they wanted to produce my next play. They wanted to get a play out of me. So they gave me like a insanely large budget. And it was a huge success. And I think that the word of that success sort of spread around the UC system. And completely out the blue, I got an acceptance letter to UCLA. I mean, not completely out the blue, I should say. I had applied to UCLA, but I never finished my application. But they accepted me anyway. So I get to UCLA. I could not major in film because you have to apply specifically to the film program at UCLA. It's very competitive. So I majored in philosophy, and I'll get into that later as we get into the writing. So I got a degree in philosophy, a bachelor's at UCLA, metaphysics specifically. And then I was accepted to the American Film Institute, AFI. And that's where I earned my master's degree in film. And that was a great experience. I had a wonderful mentor, Alan Swire. We are still friends to this day. And we still collaborate on movies. Matter of fact, we have a project that we did as of right now. Today is January 2nd, 2015. 2025. Happy New Year. We have a movie right now that's being edited. A documentary on the history of the blues. So American Film Institute, one of the best film schools in the country. I had a great experience there. I'm a writer. I've written, I direct. I mentioned that. I've produced and I edit. I've directed for both film and stage, and I've also directed live events, meaning there's a live event on the stage going on, and I'll have 4 cameras, sometimes 5, and I have to switch between all 5 cameras live. Like, I can't mess up. It's going to be on the screen. Everybody's going to see it around the world. And I'm in the headphones and I'm telling the cameraman what to do. Like, camera 3, go wide. Camera 4, pan left. Give me a close-up shot. Camera 2, I'm coming to you. Camera 2, you're live. Camera 1, pull out real slow. I want to come to you. No, go back. Reset camera 1. Hold it there. Camera 1, I'm coming to you. Camera 1, you're live. 2, give me a wide shot. Hurry up. 2, 4, pan around. Give me an audio. That's literally the pace of live directing. You're constantly giving instructions to 4 or 5 different cameramen. And I'm thinking 2 to 3 shots ahead of what I'm seeing on the screen. So it's a different style of directing and interacting with talent and the event. So some of the questions that I always get when we would have live classes was, Mr. Calderon, what are your favorite films? So over here on the side, I have some of my favorites. These are all my favorites right now. Cinema Paradiso, which is, that's up there with probably is my all-time favorite because of the ending. Ron, just an amazing film all around. Akira Kurosawa. Battle of Algiers. That one, wow. That's just one movie you gotta experience. It really, Battle of Algiers is about the French occupation of Algeria. So after World War II, the French did to the Algerians the same thing that the Nazis in Germany did to them. Very interesting. The film was made. It won the highest honors at the Cannes Film Festival, right? And then they turned around and banned the film because it made the French look so bad. So, my other favorite is Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee. I love Spike Lee. He's got this unique style of filmmaking. He was like one of my, other than John Singleton, one of my first inspirations. So, what are your favorite films? Let's hear it. You guys, as we go along in this class, it's absolutely imperative that you stay up with the assignments. There are no due dates, but everything has to be turned in before the end of class. The only one that has a due date is the script, the short script assignment. Okay, everyone's gonna have to write a short script, and we will, in the lab, we will decide as a group which script we're gonna shoot. And then we're gonna break down that script. We're gonna do that, run that script through the whole production process, and you guys are gonna shoot it. So everything else is sort of due on your own time, and the reason for that is the lab section requires a certain amount of flexibility because we have to plan things out and schedule things, and people get busy, and they, one person who may be cast as the lead has a, I don't know, football practice or something. So these dates have to be flexible. But as long as you get everything in by the end of the class, you should be fine. And what I do is at different intervals, I sort of nudge the people. I'll send you a message if you're getting too far behind. Okay? Participation, you guys. Film is a contact sport. It's a boots on the ground, hands-on, face-to-face kind of thing. I can teach you online how to make movies, but ultimately it's like swimming. You can't learn how to swim standing on the edge of the pool. At some point you got to get wet. So you guys are gonna have to get wet. You're gonna have to jump in the water and make a movie. So this isn't the time to be shy and coy. This isn't the time to sort of sit in the back and play it cool. This is the time to speak up, step up, challenge yourself, get out your own comfort zone, and make a movie. Film is the type of industry that has a space for everybody. What do I mean by that? No matter what you do, there's a space for you in the film industry. I'm a big fan of Neil deGrasse Tyson. I watch his Star Talk podcast all the time. And he just had a guest on one, and they were talking about ice volcanoes on other planets, right? And the subject was film, how to make better science fiction movies. And he had this woman on there, and her specialty were these volcanoes. And they talked about how she would consult, or they would hire her as an astrophysicist to consult on movies, science. So even if you're a scientist, there's a space for you. You can consult on a movie. You can even direct a movie. Kip Thorne wrote Interstellar. He's an astrophysicist. He's legitimate astrophysicist, and he wrote Interstellar. So I have this one student, excellent student. I mean, this guy was great, just organized, always on time, A student. All his other classes were great, and he loved working with his group. They're still friends to this day. And he was a senior, and he came to me after the class and was like, Professor Calderon, I'm kind of torn because, man, on one hand, I love making films, but on the other hand, I got accepted to MIT for an engineering degree. So I feel like I'm pulled to do this engineering because I love that, but dang, this filmmaking thing is so much fun, and I'm good at it. And I told him, don't worry, look, if you get that engineering degree, you can still apply that to the film industry. For example, the producer for Top Gun Maverick came and spoke to my lab, like year before last, and he was talking about Top Gun, the movie. And he was talking about, and he purposely takes on these huge global projects because he likes to travel, he likes the challenge, he likes the thick of it. And this one was particularly challenged engineering-wise because they had to develop a brand new camera that did not exist, that they can mount on the frame of a fighter jet and film. So they had to hire an engineer or engineers and pay them a lot of money to develop this camera. And now this camera exists. Then that engineer and the producer had to deal with the FAA and get the camera cleared to shoot in all the different countries around the world where they were scheduled to shoot. So it's the kind of industry where there's a space for everyone. You know, if you're an engineer, you like building stuff, you can do set construction. If you like numbers, you can do accounting, set accounting. So you're good at drawing or painting, you can do set design. You like clothes, you can do costuming. You like hair, you can do hair and makeup. There's something for everyone there. Okay, so as we start gearing up for these projects in the lab, just kind of, jump in where you think you can fit in. If something resonates with you, you feel like, okay, I can do that. Do it. You don't have to do it good. Okay, you're not getting graded for doing it good. We're getting graded for getting it done. So, yeah, we're not getting graded for doing it good. We're getting graded for doing it done. All you have to do is participate. Just participate, and you'll get an A. And I don't mean participate with the minimal effort where, okay, we're meeting at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, you just kind of show up and you're sitting there scrolling on your phone. You're not doing anything. Yeah, that's going to affect your grade negatively. I mean, getting in and help your team out. Okay, have fun and enjoy it. I mean, you're making a movie for... How many classes will you take in your educational career where you get to collaborate with people and make a movie? This is this is probably the only class you'll get to do that. So enjoy it, participate, explore, ask questions, you guys. All right, ask a ton of questions. I have office hours, so come to the office hours. Right? You can reach out to me through Canvas and I'll set it up. I'll meet you in Zoom and you can ask your questions. Okay? It's that simple. And always, you guys, always, if you have a question, ask it. Because what I found out over the 20 plus years of teaching is most of the time, someone else has the same question. They just don't have the guts to ask it. And when someone asks that question, you'll see at least two people like, oh, okay, because, someone else had the same question and they just didn't have the guts to ask it. So never be afraid to ask a question in any college course, okay? That shows the instructor, the professor, that you are engaging in the material, you're cognizing, you're listening, you're engaging, you're trying to grasp the material, and you have questions. So questions are excellent. Bring me your questions, all right? These are the stages of a film. We have development, and that's where we take the idea and make it into a script. Then we have pre-production, where we break the script down and we schedule and budget, hire everyone and get the locations and whatnot. Then we have production, which is principal photography, where we actually shoot. Then we have post-production, where we edit and we do sound effects, visual effects, and then distribution. So, and you guys, these little lines right here, this doesn't represent how long it takes. I just couldn't move them and shape them. So don't think that this space represents how long each phase takes. Okay, post-production could be short. It could be an easy film to edit. The development process could be longer. I remember when I was at AFI, one of the gentlemen came in. He was a Oscar-winning filmmaker. He wrote Shakespeare in Love. And when they asked him, from the time you sat down to first write down the idea to the time you got a green light for the script, how long did it take? And he looked up and then he said 11 years. So he carried that script for 11 years. So the development could be a long time. You never know. Okay? So these colors, these spaces don't represent any specific timeline in each of the phases. All right? So good luck with the class and just stay current with the assignments, participate, then don't hesitate to reach out to me and watch a movie, you guys. Come on. That's your assignment. Go watch one of my favorite movies. And then let me know what your favorites are. All right. See you in class.